Hi everyone. Can you let me know if you can see me and hear me? Okay, so we're just gonna wait a few minutes. So I'm just gonna give 2 minutes for more people to join the stream, and afterwards, I would put a Google Form link on the chat, for the draw we're gonna do, that I promise we're gonna do later on today. So just a sec. Mm, Okay. Sorry everyone. So we're live in a bit. So I'm just gonna share my screen and we'll start. Just a sec. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm just. Can you confirm you can see the screen? Hi everyone. Can you confirm you can see the screen? Uh, let me see. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna put this in presentation mode. Okay, hi everyone. So as you all know, my name is Jessica Ayodele now. So today, you're welcome once again to this session. So today we're going to be looking at this topic, creating a star resume and a LinkedIn profile. Um, and like I said, on the poster or when I posted this, before we start, at some point in this live stream, we're going to do a review of two LinkedIn profiles. So for the early birds that arrived first, we're just going to do a little spin the wheel random draw. And for us to be able to get the names, um, hi, Great Grace. Session is going to take about 1 hour, but feel free to leave when you want to. So basically, I'm going to send a Google link now to you, and then you just put in your YouTube display name, right? So your first and last name, and then we'll do a random draw to select the two winners of this stream. Uh, okay. So let me just send this now, and I'm just going to post the link in the chat for everyone. Emails. Okay, nice. So we have about 2 minutes for this. So I just put the link now in the chat. So basically just click on the link, enter your first and last name, and we'll just do the random draw to select the two people who review their LinkedIn profiles, and we'll just continue with the session. So I'm going to give 2 minutes. So it's about 9:10 a.m. my time. So in 2 minutes, I'll stop the draw and we'll pick the name. Wow, so I'm seeing the responses here. We have, so I think I'm just going to put it on my screen so it's live. Okay, I'm just sharing Canva. So I have 85 responses so far, and I would share this just a sec. See. So 100 responses so far. Okay. Okay, so it's 10:12 now. I'm just going to close the form in a bit, and so we can all see this live. I'm just going to stop sharing and I'll share again. Okay, so here we go. So basically, we have 109 responses so far. If you put your name twice, you probably didn't need to do that, but so I'm just going to stop accepting responses now. It's already 9:12. Um, okay, okay. So I'm just going to stop accepting responses. Thanks to everyone that's filled this. So basically, I'm still going to do this live, so it's very transparent. Yep. And I have a random name picker here by the side. So let's just select all of the names. And I have my wheel generator here. So basically, I have everybody's name on this random wheel generator. Okay, I'm just going to give you a bit because I'm going to close this, this, this. And yeah, so basically we have everybody's name here. And we're just going to do a quick spin the wheel and we'll select the 2 winners of this. So hi Ipe Kendo. So first person is Juliet Saki. So I'm just going to copy your name and put it here. So Juliet, please. Everybody was meant to enter their names only once. I don't have time to start removing duplicates, to be honest. So Juliet Saki, please, you can send your LinkedIn profile. You can just put it on the chat, and we'll review it later. If we don't get the LinkedIn profiles, we'll pick someone else. But the last person here is, I think, Mahamud Usman. So I'm just going to copy this. So congrats to Juliet and Mahamud. Okay, hi Juliet. Okay, so so you can just copy your LinkedIn profile URL into the chat, Juliet, or if you want, I'm just trying to think here because we're gonna see it either ways. And then just put it in the chat, and then we'll have time in an hour's time to do the review, right? Or less than an hour actually. So I'm gonna close this. So if we don't get the URLs from Juliet and Mahamud, we'll do the randomly picker again. But basically, we have the names now. So we're just going to go ahead with the session and we'll have time for the review later on. So just a pulse check here. How's everyone doing? Are you guys good? Is it a slow day? Is it a fast day? Just let me know in the chat, just to know what the tone is in the room. And if we have time, we'll probably just pick one more person. So let's just stay tuned to the end. But basically, I have all the names of people that submitted their names for the random wheel, and we'll see as we go in the session. So let me know how you guys are doing. So thumbs up for good, thumbs down for not so good. Okay. So I see Omawumi says she's good. Joshua says it's good. Juliet says she's having an awesome day. Of course, that's one of our winners. Okay, so that's basically that's nice. So I'm going to remove this. So basically, today's agenda, we've done like the icebreaker yet. So we'll just go through some of the important resume features. Again, we're going to be having the sessions in 2 parts: the resume session and the LinkedIn portion, right? And then we'll look at accomplishment statements, conclude, and then there's no free resume review. This is going to be a free LinkedIn review, and then we'll conclude. And basically, before we begin, if you have questions as we go along, there's going to be a time for us to ask questions, right? I think there's a way for me to feature the questions on the screen. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but I think there's a way to do that. And I'll read out your questions from the chat when it's time for questions. So if there's anything that stands out to you as we talk, feel free to tweet about it. For those that know me from Twitter, I like to tweet a lot. And then yeah, you can also tag me as well, so I see it and I can retweet on my timeline, and you can tag at Data Tech Space too. And then there's no need for you to record. For those that registered for the session, we are definitely gonna make the recording available to you at the end. I might feature it on my on the YouTube channel if I want to, but we'll definitely make the recording available to you as well as the slides as well. So I said that we'll give you the slides as well as the recording. And just a brief profile about myself. My name is Jessica Ardeye. I'm a data analyst Utopis Canada. I also dabble into career talks a bit, so I call myself a career strategist, and I also like to speak, so I call myself a speaker. I started my career in 2017, early 2017, actually late 2016, but I just say 2017. And I worked with companies like General Electric back in Nigeria and South Africa. I also worked with Seplat Petroleum, now Seplat Energy, before moving into the data analytics space. And before my career started with Sobeys or continued with Sobeys, basically, I worked with a company called Geotab here in Canada. And I also like to write fascinating stories, not just about data. I like to write about things I experience in my personal life. So if you see me tweeting a lot, it's just because I like to write. And I also I'm the founder of a growing online community called Data Tech Space. It's for data professionals. So if you're a data person, data scientist, data analyst, machine learning engineer, feel free to join us. Just Google Data Tech Space and you see our website. You can register to join us on our Discord server. Yeah, definitely. You will get a replay, Angela. I'm also monitoring the chat. You get a replay of this. And for my hobbies, I like to watch soccer. I'm going to be watching Premier League at the moment. I also am a fan of Ultimate Fighting Championship (UFC). I like to read, listen to music, and I like to binge watch TV series. Currently, I'm watching Superstore. I'm in season 6. And last thing I like to say is that I'm not a motivational speaker. Whatever I say are things from my personal experience. I do not like motivational speakers. I like speakers or motivational speakers that back up whatever they say with actions. So whatever you see me say to you are things I've experienced in my personal life. And for me, it's just a matter of sharing my journey and making sure that people know that it's not magic when things happen or when people say good things happen to them. It's something that is systemic and you can apply what someone else has done to your own personal life to get the same result. So that's basically what about me in a nutshell. And yeah, fun fact, my career started basically as in engineering, right? I studied engineering in school, and I started working in 2017. In 2020, late 2020, I decided that I wanted to switch to data analytics, data science. Prior to that, I'd never really had any issue with job search because right after my master's, I got a job almost immediately. I think back then in Nigeria, they like people that had first class and all of that. So, and I did really interview well. And then from the first job I had, I got a second job with General Electric. That was kind of pretty easy to go through. I was in General Electric for a year, and then I got a job with Seplat Petroleum, not Seplat Energy, and it was basically through their graduate training scheme. So for me, interviewing wasn't really an issue. So then back in Nigeria, for entry level, everybody will have to write exams and then go through several stages of assessments, right? So I didn't really see it as an issue. So coming here, I had that mindset that it was going to be easy as well. But apparently, it was a different ball game because now I wasn't really applying for entry level roles, and I'd spent some time obviously after school, right? So that was when it kind of hit me that there are different challenges that I was going to face. And I'm going to share more as we go along. So basically, when I started to switch from engineering to data analytics, I had to obviously start applying to jobs again, right? And when I started in January 2021, sorry, applying, yeah, it was me sending like 7 to 10 applications a day through LinkedIn, through Indeed. So I put here that between this period, so from January to like February, mid-February, I stopped applying mid-February because I was getting interviews, and in my head, there was interviews I was getting to like the final stages, and I thought, I was gonna get the job, but then the final stage will come, and then you get breakfast in quotes. They'll tell you, oh, sorry, we went with the other candidate, that kind of thing. And then April 1st to 15th again, I basically started to apply again, and so within this period, so this is like a 2 months window, 2.5 months window, I had sent 200 plus applications, right? So that period, I was basically doing about 7, 10 applications a day, depending on my mood. Some days I probably won't just apply. Some other days I'll probably have interviews I needed to attend to. But funny story was before January, I had been applying to jobs, but I wasn't getting any call back. So the big question is what happened between, let's say, December to January 15th, when I started applying to jobs and I started getting interviews and callbacks for interviews. And it was basically because I tweaked my resume. And it was from a session like this where I'd attended on Clubhouse through my friend Adekunle. He invited me and said, "Oh, this session happening. They're talking about resumes." And I just hopped in, and basically from that talk, from that Clubhouse session, I got everything I needed to tweak my resume. And from there, I immediately applied to jobs. Like the next week, I'm getting like callbacks, call me, interview with us, set up an HR interview, things like that. So on the right side here, these are companies that I interviewed with during that period. Um, yeah. So next thing, let's just get started while we're here, right? So for most of us here, we all have resumes, I would assume. If you're still in school, you probably have a short resume for your internship, right? If you're out of school, you probably have a resume that probably shows internships you've done and things around your education, stuff like that. But what really is a resume, right? So what would you say a resume is? And for me, I like to define a resume as a resume being you, right? It's something that the HR person will see when you're not there. So whatever is your resume has to represent what you want them to see or what you want them to know about you. So that's what I'll define a resume as, right? And the key thing here is the employer is not going to be there when they see your resume and are doing the screening. You're not going to be there to answer any questions they have. So whatever is in your resume should answer whatever questions they have about whether you are going to be the right fit for the job you're applying to. And I also said here that it's the key to your next job, right? If I'm changing jobs today, the first step is for me to submit my resume to a company. So that resume obviously has to be top notch and has to speak what I want them has to be speaking what I want the HR person to hear, so they can screen they won't screen me out and obviously invite me for an interview, right? And I also said here, I'm just going to correct this so that I don't forget later on. A resume without a resume or a star resume, right? It's going to be difficult for you to get interviews like I did back to back. And I'm obviously going to define what a star resume is. But for those of you that are familiar with the star technique, right, especially when it comes to answering interview questions, S stands for S stands for situation, T stands for task, A stands for action, and R stands for results. So we're going to just dig deeper into what that is as we go along. But basically, your resume should have these key features. And on the right here, I just put a sample resume. For those of you that saw when I shared my resume on LinkedIn and on Twitter, right? I shared a link as well that shows that where you can get resume templates like the one I have on the right. So I just put this as an example. And for those of you that probably went to that link, you'd have seen a sample like this on there. So the website is Freesumes. Let me just type it here, freesumes.com. I think that's the right site. So on there, you will get free templates similar to this or way better than this. But basically, your resume should have these key features. And I said first is your basic information, your name on the very top, the job title you're applying for, your LinkedIn URL, because nowadays recruiters like to go through people's LinkedIn profiles. If you're in tech, if you're a software engineer, a data analyst, a product designer, this portfolio URL is very important because it will show them the kind of work you've done, and it's one of the fastest ways to get a call back if your portfolio is really good. Also, if you highlight your skills, that isn't shown here, but I'll show it when I do a review of my resume on the stream. You should also be looking at the skills. If your video is freezing, I just saw something. Please reload it or relaunch the stream. This is my first time doing YouTube streaming because I knew I was going to get more than 100 people on the call, and I didn't want to do a Zoom call because it was going to be number of people that would attend, to be honest. So if you see it freezing, restart your stream. Another thing I also try to do is I reduce the resolution of my camera as well. If you guys want, I can turn it off if that might help. Then again, just to continue what I was saying. So another thing obviously very important is your work experience. What experiences have you had? And it's going to be in chronological order. So you're going to start from your current position or your most recent position to all the way to whenever you started working. And for those that are fresh grads or those that are transitioning, like I did, into a new career path, it's important for you to also showcase the projects that you've done. And I'll show you how I put that in my resume. And the important thing is obviously your education. So what schools did you go to? What degrees did you have? And also, if you have certifications as well, you can include that. And I did that in my resume. And also, last thing is volunteering. For some companies, some people like to look at this as you giving back, and it might give you an edge if there are companies that really value this, people that volunteer in other organizations. So if you want, you can also include if you're a volunteer or a mentor or something in another, all right, in another yeah, so video froze. I'm trying to see what Gertrude is saying. It says something makes the slides blurry. I don't know, Gertrude, are you referring to the video? Let me know if you're referring to the video, Gertrude, and I'll know if I need to turn it off. Because I think I can do that here. Let me see. So right now I'm only showing the slides. Or let me see if I can move this around. Solo layout. What's happening? Okay. So it's blurry. Okay. So if it's blurry for anyone, just let me know and I would know how to handle this. Oh no, I did reduce the resolution, Gertrude. It's basically still the same thing I've had. Just a sec here. My camera resolution is on 480p. Broadcast quality is on 720. Nope. So I didn't really change anything. All right. Okay. So basically, we talked about star resume. So what exactly is star resume, right? Now, under your work experience, again, we're going to do all this in practical terms. Under your work experience, there's obviously a need for you to show what you've done before. So I have a job. Let's say I worked in a company, let's say in a warehouse company, for instance, where I was loading and offloading items, right? And I want to put that in my resume as somewhere I worked. And I say, okay, I want you to make it a star resume. Star simply means situation, task, action, and results. So if, for instance, in the warehouse I was working, every day I was loading and offloading, let's say 100 plus packages, right? I'm not just going to say, oh, offloaded 100 plus packages, right? That doesn't make it a star resume in quotes. What makes it a star resume is, was there a problem that was solved? How did you go about solving that problem and what was the outcome? So if, for instance, in the warehouse, there was an issue where there was an issue with productivity, and let's say in the entire warehouse we were doing 1,000 packages per day, and the company said, oh, let's find a way to make it 1,200 packages per day. So that's a problem that needed to be solved. How, in your own little way, did you go about contributing to help people solve that problem? So it could be that, oh, you found a way to bring the loading and offloading docks closer together, or you found a way to reorganize the layout of the warehouse so that it was easier for people to come in and go in and come out of the warehouse, such a way that the time that was spent before was now reduced, and now the people could offload, everybody in the warehouse could offload more packages than it did before. So in that case, the problem was what? The problem was that you wanted to increase productivity. Productivity was low. What was expected for us to get to 1,200 packages per day? How did I solve it? I reorganized the layout. And what was the outcome? Obviously, the outcome was that you increased productivity from 1,000 packages per day to 1,200 packages per day. So if I'm to say that in my resume, I'm going to say something like improved productivity by 200 packages per day, or by 20%, by um, reorganizing or designing a new warehouse layout for the team. That's basically a star statement. So, and basically all of your statements on your resume should follow that pattern. And that basically speaks to your accomplishments. I've reviewed a lot of resumes in like this year. Probably I've done like 20 to 30 resume reviews, because at some point earlier in the year I was doing free resume reviews for people, and then I got clients as well that pay for me to review their resumes. And one thing I see that's common is the fact that people don't talk about their accomplishments the way they should. Most people prefer to say what their responsibilities were. So the example I gave to the warehouse instance, oh, I uploaded 100 packages per day. Of course you did. That was your job. But what difference did you make is what employers want to see. Because nobody wants, if I'm hiring someone, for instance, I don't want to hire someone that will be a burden or someone that will just do their job. I'm hiring someone that will add value to my business, and that is what the employer wants to see. So basically, every statement on your resume should follow this pattern. And if there's anything you want to screenshot or take away from this live stream today, it should be this slide. You can screenshot it if you want, but again, like I said, you're gonna get slides afterwards. Or basically, you should be asking yourself this question on every statement that you write. And if STAR seems more difficult for you, another approach that like I put down here, and I'm just gonna make it just to be my slide. Let me just see how I can make this. Uh, nope, it's not what I want to show. Yeah. So another thing I can say is this, right? So on the bottom here, you see an alternative to this statement. And I've said here, I said an alternative is the XYZ approach, which is similar to the STAR statement. You did X using Y to get Z, right? So I did, so going back to the real statement, what did the person do? He helped reorganize the layout of the warehouse. There could be software he used to do that. It could be that he designed it on something called Microsoft Visio, and he used that to reorganize the layout. And then what was the result that I got? That's the Z. The result is the fact that productivity went from 1,000 packages per day to 1,200. That's about 20. Am I saying it right? That's 20%. So basically, your resume should follow this pattern, and that's what I want to pass across today. And again, accomplishment statements, it should be, it can be different things, right? It doesn't have to just be productivity. It could be time that you saved for the company, because in that case, the person saved time, which obviously led to more productivity, and that way it's more money for the company because you are spending the same amount of time, but you're obviously doing more work. And then obviously translate to cost savings for the company and for the customers. It could be awards or recognition that you got. It could be positive feedback. It could be for those that probably worked in like a customer facing environment where you get customer satisfaction ratings, because I did at some point. It could be you stating what that customer satisfaction rate was, and at every point in time, it should be quantifiable, right? It should either be in percentage. It should either be in, yeah. So Mana say, yeah, star resume is the same thing as the XYZ, is the same thing as the XYZ approach. Yeah, that's what we said here. So it's the same thing as the XYZ approach. It's just obviously shorter, right? So each ending one you want to follow, but I think for resumes, I usually like to follow the XYZ approach because it makes it obviously shorter and it makes it easier for you to remember and to phrase it. And then it must be quantifiable, like I said here, in terms of percentages, dollar savings or naira savings or whatever currency you use, in days, hours, or by count, whatever. As long as you have like numbers or something to say, it improved from point A to point B. That's what people want to see. And so one thing I did here was to put some examples of poor star statements and examples of good ones. So we'll just do a couple, and then I'll just do a live review of my resume for those on the call, and we'll go on to the LinkedIn part. For me, I just want to make this as practical as possible. I don't like to just talk theory too much. So this is an example. So this was someone that probably was a data collector or data entry person at a company, right? And the statement here says, I was in charge of data collection for all departments in my company. This is good, but it doesn't really tell it doesn't really tell much, to be honest, because you're basically just doing your job. And to be honest, people that get promoted or people that get um, jobs are people that are star achievers or stellar performers at their job, right? So again, even if you did this, you should be highlighting what was different in what you did or what impact you made. And so a better statement, like I've put here, I said here, either what you can say better to make that statement obviously stand out is something like this: coordinated data collection strategies across 7 departments, which reduce the monthly report preparation time by 80%, right? Now this might seem like a lot, but me seeing this, it's passing a message that you took your initiative to do something in your company, right? And again, you should remember that companies are paying people, even if you get your salary at the end of the month, companies are paying you, actually paying you or quantifying your man hours, right? So if I'm getting paid, let's say $80 per day, right? And I work 8 hours in a day, it means that for every hour I work, I'm earning $10, for example, right? So if you spend the 8 hours doing maybe one or two tasks that can be done in less time, you're hurting the company because you're spending more time that you could have been using on more productive things. So in this case, this person obviously took initiative, helped, saw a problem that needed to be solved or that could be addressed, and he helped to reduce the time they used to prepare their monthly report. So it wasn't just collecting data from different departments. He took initiative to do something, and this is the kind of statement that should be on your resume, right? Read one. I see your question, but I think just save that question, right? For me, like I like the question to be honest, and I'm gonna answer it like once I'm done. So just save that question. I just hope I can go back. I like the question for students because I get asked that a lot. So another statement here is this: created weekly performance reports for North American clients using Microsoft Power BI and this. All fine and good, but again, this is just your job. You are paid to do this. What difference did you make is what you should put on your resume. So a better statement can be this: created weekly performance dashboards for North American clients using this, and with a satisfaction score of 90%. So basically, this might not be something that was improved, but like I said, if you work in a customer facing environment, one thing that can be used to set your KPIs would be things around your ratings, right? So you would send clients to send feedback that your managers will see. And I used to get that a lot from one of the companies I worked in, Transform, because it was a customer facing role. And on my resume, you see where I put the fact that I had achieved a particular score in terms of customer rating. So that could be a good way to show that you're a high performer, right? And that is why this is better because it shows that this person is a high performer and was getting a very high score from his clients, right? Again, I tell people sometimes you put things in your resume, no one's gonna call the company to say to verify did this person get 90% satisfaction score, to be honest, right? The key thing is for you to be able to defend it when you go for your interview. So even if you someone writes your resume for you and you get an interview, if you don't know how to defend or back up the statements there, you're obviously not going to get to the next stage, right? So even if I do resume writing for clients or people that come to meet me to help with their resumes, I tell them whatever it's I help you to write or rewrite, it's there for you to know and have a story behind it, right? So when you go for interviews and you're talking through what is on your resume, you won't be looking lost or looking like you're lying, right? So you should also have that at the back of your mind, to be honest. And so the next part um, is we'll just do a quick review of the resume I have, and I've shared this on my. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you see the resume there. It's not hidden. It's also on my Twitter profile as well. So I'm just going to do a quick review of it. Because when I shared this, it got a lot of reactions from people, and to be honest, I've not really had time to answer people's questions under that post. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to show you the before and the after, right? So this was the resume I had prior to January. If you were here from the beginning of the stream, so prior to January 2021, this was the resume I had. In my head, I felt it was a very amazing resume. Like I had good star statements, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, but it was 2 pages, and I think it was a lot to read, to be honest. When I look at it now, so this is me showing you the before, and after I attended the session similar to this session we're having now, I I ended up revamping my resume to what we have here. And can you believe that what I have here um in this previous screen, right, was showing as 2 pages with all of this stuff there is what I kind of condensed to make 1 page here, right? And it's not something that's difficult to do. Earlier in the stream, I shared I shared this with I shared this the link to get resume templates with people with those on the stream. So if you have that link, you can share again for those that probably just joined now. So basically on here, like I said earlier, is your resume will start with your name on the very top and then the role you're applying for. So if you're a software engineer, what should we get a software engineer? If you're a data scientist, change this. If you're a product manager, project manager, engineer, let the job title be here. And then all these are my links, right? So I have links to LinkedIn, links to my GitHub. I had a website, I still have a website. So this is because I'm a data analyst, right? And then I also applying to data science roles as well. And I used to code, so everything was on GitHub. Um, but in cases where your role doesn't require you to have like a portfolio, it's not necessary for you to put this. But I think it's good for you to have like a website. Just have a personal website. It's not something that costs a lot of money. And in some cases, you can get a free site. There are one-page websites where you create one-page sites for free. If you want a custom URL or you want a domain name, then you pay like maybe I think for this domain name I pay like $17 a year, which is like I don't know, convert $10. That's 2,500, like 1K a year or something. Okay, no, I'm not saying it right. It's more than 1K. Like 10K a year. So it's not really a lot, to be honest. Um, so that's what I have on the first part. And then on here I talk about my skills, right? For me, I really do not pay so much attention to all the soft skills because I feel when they read your resume, they should be able to get that, right? But in some cases, I tweak this sometimes in terms of soft skills. But on here, I have all technical skills I have listed here. Again, this resume is on my LinkedIn profile. If you go to this LinkedIn profile, and it's on my what now? It's on my Twitter account, so you don't have to worry about whether I have it or not. What else? Our next part here are the projects I worked on, right? So on here you would see the projects here, and I just summarized what the projects were about. So if someone just sees at a glance, they'll know what was done, right? And all these are clickable links. So if you click on this, you can see the costed changes. It will take the person to the article I wrote about this project. It will take them to the GitHub where the code was and the full report that I did for this project. Same thing with my link with this other project. And on here, I just listed like the tools I used for this project. Now, if you're in an experienced role where you've worked for several years, this might not be important to put. And I said that earlier. But if you're transitioning to a new career and it's a technical role that requires you to show a portfolio, it's necessary actually to put this, right? Or if it's an entry level role. Someone asked about interns, like someone asked about students that probably don't have experience. What do they put on their resume? And the answer to that is that you would put your project, right? Because the project now it's more like how do I explain now? It's more like the alternative to the experience because you're showing that you can do the job even though you've not actually had a job in the past. So for most people that are students, if not gotten an internship, projects would help you stand out from others, right? And then obviously get your foot in the door. So as students, then nothing stops you from working on projects if you are looking for technical roles, right? Um, and then my work experience is obviously here. And then I'll just go through a couple of statements that I'll say as start statement here. In some cases here in this case, I said, oh, I improved design cycle time. Let me make this bigger a bit. I said here, improved design cycle time. Oh no, it's cutting it off. Yeah. Improve design cycle time for facility modifications by 30% through implementation of automated change management control system using SharePoint, blah, blah, blah. Now the question is, did this really happen? Now, did this really happen? Yes, it did, right? I don't like my resumes. On my resume. Um, did I modify it a lot to make it a star statement? Yes, I did. And on here, someone looking at it will say, "Oh, she actually did this. This is something I want to also implement in my organization. Or she would probably be a great asset. Let me call her for an interview." Let me call her for an interview, right? Um, so for me, like, I just feel this is an example of a star statement. And if you go through my resume, which I've shared online, you will see more examples of this. So the idea is for you to take your statements that you have currently on your resume and try to fashion it towards something like this. And I've told you already the technique that you use. So in this case, when I spoke about the XYZ technique earlier, my X here, which is did X, using Y to get Z. My X here is me improving design cycle time, right? My Y, which is what did I use, is I use Microsoft SharePoint, right? And at that point, and now it's called Power Automate, right? But at that point, at that time when I did this project, it was still SharePoint that Microsoft was calling it. And what was my Z? What was my results? The design cycle time increased by 30%. And simple as that, we have a start statement already. So I think people should try to fashion their resumes that way, and that would definitely help you a whole lot more. I'll take questions as we go, but I just want to be fast because we have like very limited time. Um, and the last thing here I have are my education and certification. So for people that use like Udemy, Udacity, Coursera, and all of that, you can also include it here on your education section as well. So on here, you see the 2 degrees I had at the top. For GPAs, you don't necessarily need to put it, to be honest, right? If you're a new grad, yes, you need to put it. But if you've worked for several years, like now on my current resume, I don't have my GPA showing there anymore. In this case, I was transitioning and I felt, oh, why not put the fact that you had a good GPA, right? If it will give you an extra boost. Excuse me. So I also have a link to my transcript as well, but I don't think they really paid attention to it. But for new grads applying for internships, this would help you more if you have a really good results because it will help you stand out from the other students vying for that internship. And the last thing here is I also had this certified IBM professional certification from Coursera, and I put it there that I got in 2020, and I just put a sample of the courses I did under that certification program. For a lot of people that are doing certification courses with Google, Coursera, all of that, this is the section to put it. I also have another version of my resume where I have a volunteer section, and I usually use that when I'm applying to like very big companies. So there's a time where someone from Apple told me to send them my resume. When I also got the LinkedIn referral as well, I added volunteer whatever to my resume because I felt it would look good on it. And I actually did talk about it when I was interviewing with them. So that is something you can also include. And yes, it was still one page, even with that section. A lot of people tell me they can't compress their stuff to one page, and I say they lie. If you have less than 5 years experience, you can't make your resume one page. And for me, I feel it's easier on the eyes to see because very recently, I think if you're on my Twitter on, I've been I did like a couple of interviews in my current company last month or last 2 months where we interviewed some people, and for me it's way easier for whoever's interviewing to see everything on one page than for you to start scrolling through a lot of stuff, because when when people are interviewing you, they only have like maybe a few minutes before the interview, to be honest, to look at the resume, your resume. And if it's a lot, they might not be able to digest that information in that short period. I am saying that because I have that personal experience when I did interviews for people, like because I'm working, the person also working as well, and they have tons of meetings. It was just like few minutes when I got the reminder on my Outlook that, oh, you have an interview with this person. That was when I picked up the resume and I looked at it and I got questions that I wanted to ask them. So yeah, that's that about this. And I'll just pause here to get like two questions. And I would, so let me, I don't know, I don't want to stop sharing. But yeah, I'll just pause here to get like two questions. So if you have questions that I did not, okay, so I'll show this question from Axel. Mm. So Axel is saying, hi Jessica, can you share the hosting sites you use? Also, process of creating the website. Process of creating the website. I don't think I've done a tweet on it yet, but I would do that. Well, for the site I use for my current website, I use GoDaddy. So let me just type it in the chat. GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is what I use currently because I bought my domain name from GoDaddy and they offered me like a free, I don't know, some kind of discount to build my site. And it was quite easy. Like when I built the current website you're seeing, the first time I built it, I had like I think like 4 pages on the web, or four menu pages. I probably did it in like 5 hours. Like it didn't really take me so much time to do it because I already have templates and it's just for you to fix stuff in there and fix your links and stuff like that. I'm also trying to think. Then currently, what I'm trying to do is I want to migrate to Wix. So if you go to Data Tech Space website, we didn't use GoDaddy for that. We use Wix. Wix for me is more flexible and it allows you to be more dynamic. But I think you need like an expert level designer to build the Wix. So like my brother is the one that helps me with like the data this website because it's not like I can't do it, but like it just requires a lot of very good design minds to be able to like navigate through it. But with GoDaddy it's quite easy. If you're looking for something that is free, there are different options like Disha, there is Google Sites, and I think GitHub pages as well. I've seen a lot of GitHub pages, um, portfolio websites, and they're really nice. So I just put the different options in the chat, right? So there's this question from Michael Fajemilane. So Michael is asking, what's the best format for resume? So the best format for your resume should be in PDF. Never send your resume in a Word document. The reason for that is people have different settings on their Microsoft Word. And the moment they open it, whatever formatting you have can be skewed and it just causes it to be all over the place. So PDF is the best. And I'll also show you how my resume is in Word documents. People are seeing a lot of things, to be honest, because last time I did a session like this, I did not share this. So this is my resume in Word document, right? So I didn't choose any fancy tool to create it. It's all in Microsoft Word. All of these things you see here are tables, right? I know someone has asked me that before. So if you see here, it's a table, and the borders are hidden. Let me see. Let me just do this so you see. So you can see it's a table, right? I just hid the borders, and I did it as a table so it to be arranged. That's pretty much what's here. And I think here I did the 2 column thing. So if you go to insert, I think on Microsoft Word, insert the layout. I really can't remember. But there's something you can use to make it like two, yeah, so columns. So you can see here, you can make it 2 columns. And I think that's what I did in this part here. This wasn't a table. I just split the document here into 2 columns here. Then for my work experience section, these are all tables. And you can see when I click on it, it changes the design here to table layout. Let me see. So you can see they're all tables, to be honest. And someone had asked me, I think if it's ATS friendly. It is ATS friendly, because if it was not ATS friendly, I don't think I would have gotten 27 interviews within 3, 4, 5 months, 4 months actually. So it's all ATS friendly, and you can basically see that they're all tables. So there's really nothing special, to be honest, right? It just takes a lot of time. When I did this resume, I probably took like one night to redo it, and it came out the way it did, and I've been using it ever since, right? So that's that. So the other thing, I don't know, is there any other question? Oh, someone asked about awards. I think I had awards section at some point. Let me see. I think in the old resume I showed you guys. Let's see. I had awards. This is my old resume, so please don't use this format. Thanks. No, I don't think I put it. Well, yeah, I think I had like awards. Oh, I think I'll show you. Let me show you where it is. I think I know now. I remember. So for awards, hey, sorry, there are too many windows open. So what I did here for my awards, so under, if you see under my education and certifications, for instance, I think I got awards in school. So I just put them there. Because to be honest, I feel like, I don't know, you can put it if you got like awards from your office, and you can have a section for it if they are maybe like two or three, right? But just put mine under each educational whatever, education education under each education under each school. Then I think if you got awards while working, because I think in Seplat I did get some awards on my LinkedIn, it's there. But if you wanted to put awards for like the job, you can just put it maybe as one of the comments, awarded this best employee of the month, maybe when you're in a particular company. So you can do that as well. Nothing like, it obviously helps you, or say, oh, it shows that this person is a high performer, right? So we just have one more. I don't know, is there more? Can I add pictures? Chines, hi Chines. This question is very tough for me to answer. I've seen resumes that have pictures, but most of the resumes I see that have pictures are, they are either in marketing or in product design, right? But I think if you are in like a data analytics field, I think I know which Chines is. Don't put pictures, right? Icons you can put, because on mine you can see icons, because it kind of gives it doesn't give you that bland look. But pictures, if I don't know what you mean by picture, but if it's pictures as in your profile picture, they can see your LinkedIn profile. You don't need to put your picture of your face. um so yeah, if you can clarify what pictures mean, let me know. Links to my slides, yeah. Hi Brittany. So the links will be sent to everyone that registered to their emails after the session. So you definitely get the slides, and you also get the recording as well. So yeah, the session will still be on my YouTube page. I think if I like how it comes out, I'll leave it on my YouTube. Or if I don't like how it comes out, I will definitely send you the recording. Not to worry. Can I say arrangement of education is by year? No, it does matter actually. I think in my new resume, yeah, I think I know why you're asking that. It should be the same order, to be honest. So ideally, this one I got in 2020 should be above, but I felt because it's a certification, not like educational experience, I just left it underneath, right? But you can ideally, I think in my new resume, I put this above the others, to be honest. So it should be in the same chronological order as well. So I'm just going to go to the last thing, and I think for us to do the LinkedIn part, let's have I don't remember, Juliet. Is it Juliet or Julia? I've forgotten now. Oh god. Yeah, the icons are downloaded from free icons, or is it free, or flat icons, I think. Flaticons.com. So flaticons.com. Then you can also get icons from Microsoft Word. I don't think a lot of people know this. So I'm using Microsoft 365, and you can insert icons here. So you can see here where it says icons. I should have just made this session only resumes, but I've promised LinkedIn, so I just need to go through LinkedIn for a bit. But you can get icons, so you can see icons here. So if I wanted like a graduation cap or something, I can type that, and you can see like graduation cap, and you can insert it. So you don't have to download it. So it's similar to the education cap I have here. So don't worry, guys. It's not that difficult, to be honest. So you can insert icons directly from Microsoft Word. Yeah, you don't have to go to flat icons, but if you want to, you can. If you don't see it in Microsoft Word, you can go to flat icons. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Can I have Juliet and Mom? Was it Juliet? I think it was Juliet that won the LinkedIn stuff. How can I stop sharing? Still getting a hang of this. Hi Juliet. If you're still on the call, if we don't get Juliet or Mahmoud, we'll do another spin the wheel because we don't really have so much time. Uh, I honestly do not know how to stop. Okay. Oh, hi Juliet. Okay, yeah, I got it. So please can you share your LinkedIn URL? If you don't want to share it on the stream, you can send it to where can you send it to now? I don't know if or should I just search for your profile on LinkedIn? Just let me know what you want us to do. So, and Mahmoud, yeah, Mahmoud Usman, I remember. Um, so I just need your LinkedIn URL and I need that of Mahmoud as well, so we can just do the review. Another thing I want us to go through is we'll just quickly go through LinkedIn. So I won't spend so much time going through LinkedIn. No. Cause I've talked about LinkedIn like a whole lot on my Twitter, on my Instagram. So even the slides I'm going to show you for LinkedIn, they're on my Instagram page. So you'd see it there. So again, like again, why are we talking about LinkedIn? Mm, someone sent 600 resumes and did not get a call back. That's interesting. I like. I'm just gonna feature this question. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the person, but that's a lot, man. No, no, no. Okay, so I wish I'd seen that comment out. I'd probably reach out to the person. So Sonia is saying someone sent 600 resumes and did not get a response. That's weird. But I'll say about ATS. I used to hear about ATS a lot when I started like trying to rewrite my resume and stuff. And And to be honest, I would say I was bothered like before, like initially, but at some point I really just stopped bothering myself because I was getting callbacks. Now, one trick I will show you on LinkedIn, which I will share as we go along, as we do the practical session, is one thing I was doing was I wasn't going to apply to jobs that 100 or 200 people have applied to be honest, right? Another thing I would say is there there are free ATS software like online. And for me, I just like to show people stuff. So if you think you've done a resume and you want to just confirm, you can go to different there are a lot of them, to be honest, right? That would help you, that would tell you if your resume is good or not. There are even some that will help you write your resumes or suggest things to put in your resume. I think I paid for one at some point, but I honestly did not see any value in it. So if you think um, you want to test if your resume can go through ATS, feel free to just Google any of them and pass your resume through it. Another thing I would say is recruiters do go through resumes. It's not like they don't, right? So what the ATS does is that they look out for keywords and try to match what the job posting is saying to what's on your resume, right? That's what the ATS is practically doing. So whoever has like the most keywords, they try to select that for the recruiter. And that used to be a thing. But when I got the job with Geotab, I was working in the HR department, like doing the analytics in HR. And I obviously got to liaise with a lot of recruiters. Recruiters do go through resumes. The only thing I would say is I won't call them lazy, but they get a lot of resumes. So if they go through the first 100 and they've seen 10 or 20 that they like, they call those guys, and then they call them, and then they do the screening, right? So at that point, it's not really, I don't think it's not the ATS screening you out. It's just that sometimes you may apply late to a job. Other times it could be that obviously your resume is not really appealing. And that's why I tell people that tell me, oh, some people say don't put colors on your resume, don't do this, don't do that. I've heard a lot of things, to be honest. If I'm a recruiter looking at my own resume, I would, even just me looking at it, I would say, oh, this person created to be their time to do something like this. They must be very smart. And even without them reading it, they already have that positive bias about my resume, right? So that's why I also tell people take time to do it. Don't just put a lot of jargon in there and just put things that don't speak for you, right? Another thing I would show you on LinkedIn is when I used to apply to jobs, I don't apply to jobs that are so very popular. So a lot of all these very popular companies, you have like you see them with 300 applications, 200 applications. Like for me, at that point, I wanted to get a data analyst job. And the funny thing is, some of those companies don't want to pay you as much as the smaller companies would. So there were sites I would go to. There was Lever, there was Greenhouse. And the thing I liked about Lever is, so I don't know if you know about these recruiting software systems. That's a different topic. But if you go to my Instagram profile, there's a tweet, a thread or story I did about some suggested sites you can apply to jobs to. Why I liked Lever a lot is because on Lever, you just spend like 1 minute to submit your resume, and once you submit your resume it prefills it for you. Unlike sites like unlike companies that use success factors, workday, which other one is there? There's another one again that is very annoying. Those ones, even after you upload your resume, they would extract some things, and then you get to the work experience section and they tell you to start filling it from beginning to end. That thing used to annoy the hell out of me. And the funny thing is that when I look at the success rate I had in terms of jobs that applied through those platforms and jobs that applied through on like the newer platforms like Smart Recruiters, Lever, Bamboo, I got more callbacks from these newer guys than the success factors, those that were using success factors and the like. So sometimes when I even go and apply to jobs and I see success factors dot the company name, I just close it because I know they're gonna waste my time. So I just hope some from success factors is listening to this, but they obviously need to work on their system, right? So for me, I don't really care so much about the ATS thing, but if you really care so much, you can go through recruit free ATS platforms and stuff. Oh yeah, Canva. I don't use Canva as well. Yeah, I think hey, they've come to spam my my stream. Please. I don't use Canva to be honest. I don't know. I don't use Canva because I think Canva will make it a picture or something. So I think using Microsoft Word is best, and then just convert it to a PDF, a readable PDF. Because there's some PDFs that when you create it, it might just be an image, and I've seen an instance like that. So when you save it as PDF, don't print. I like what Sonia. Let me just show Sonia's comment. Yeah, if you know, like I feel if you know someone is going to read the resume, no harm in using Canva. But in cases where you're not sure who is going to look at a resume, if it's going to go through an ATS an applicant tracking system, use Microsoft Word, please. And please don't print to PDF. So some people can do this to convert to PDF. They print and then they say print to PDF. Don't do this because I noticed that anytime I do this, Microsoft prints to PDF, the links don't get clickable. So I'm assuming at that point it's making the other text not readable. So best thing is to save it as PDF. So if you use Microsoft, you should be able to see the save as PDF option here, right? And then save it as PDF. That's one thing I got. I can't remember what I was doing, but I stumbled upon that. We might just make this session purely resumes, to be honest. But I'm just gonna go now to LinkedIn because LinkedIn is another place where I've gotten like a lot of opportunities, and I feel it's important for us to be able to maximize the benefits that it brings or that it gives. I'm trying to make this full screen. Yeah. So why is LinkedIn important quickly? It opens a lot of doors for us. Um, it helps you connect with people. For me, I go to LinkedIn every day because I learn on LinkedIn. It also allows me to share my progress. And for people that are trying to pivot into tech fields, for people that are like in school, fresh grads, LinkedIn is a very good place to get noticed, especially if you're working on projects. So then on LinkedIn, I used to post whenever I finish a project, I would post it, post the article, and just do a short snippet of what I did. And for me, posting my project, posting dashboards, I was getting people come to my LinkedIn DMs to tell me, "Oh, Jessica, I liked your work. How did you do this? Oh, we're hiring for this role in my company. Are you interested?" And when I mentioned that I interviewed with LinkedIn last year, it was through me posting a project. I think I did something about my LinkedIn profile analysis. And someone that works there just came to meet me and told me, "Oh, Jessica, I like your project. I want to refer you to a role." And even before I answered her, she had already referred me. This was someone I did not know before. It was just my connection, right? So LinkedIn really helps people to obviously move ahead in their career. Recruiters also reach out on LinkedIn because there's a LinkedIn recruiter platform where recruiters can where they can streamline your profile and then pick candidates that they want and send them messages to for jobs they're hiring for. So one thing I also want to say, I'm just going to skip all of this. I think this is on my profile. So I just want to go through some things you should have on your LinkedIn, right? So for LinkedIn, Sonia talked about Canva. So for LinkedIn, first things first, your LinkedIn profile should have a clear picture of yourself, right? And this picture doesn't have to be taken, you don't have to go to a studio to take it. You can use your phone camera. Um, then you can use Canva. Canva has a feature where they allow you to remove the background and put any color of background you want, right? Just like to be professional looking. I took this with my phone camera, with the back phone camera, not the selfie part. Um, and then to get the header like the one I'm showing here, you can use Canva. Canva would help you has different templates for headers, and I can show that after this. Next thing is your headline. And I said here, let your headline sound confident. I've seen people put on their headline aspiring software engineer, software engineering newbie, product analyst train, like just a bunch of random stuff. And I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that. If you want people to reach out to you, if I'm hiring for a role, I'm not going to hire someone that says I'm a product designer newbie or data analyst newbie or something. I'm not going to do that because I'm like, I don't want a newbie to come into my business. But put data engineer, data analyst, put software engineer. Just put the role you want to be, right? You want to do rather, and just sound confident in the headline, and then you can just put something like maybe I've seen different versions of headlines. I've seen people put the tools that they know how to use. I feel like your skills will show that, but if you want, by all means, go ahead or put something like the core skills you have, right? So in my headline, I think it shows here, I put something like data storytelling. At some point, I put machine learning here because I used to do machine learning stuff a lot, but right now I don't really need it anymore because I'm not applying to jobs. But all those things are things that recruiters will see first and they would be prompted to want to look into your profile to reach out to you. So let your headlines sound confident, right? And have like things that you're interested in. So if you volunteer at a particular organization, you can also add it there, volunteer at this or this at that, right? Um, Last thing, experience section. I said here you should put 3 achievements at least in bullet points. If you're looking for a job, at that point you shouldn't be worried about if someone sees what you were doing in your roles or not, because you're the one looking for a job. Someone should not tell you whether to put your achievements, not to put someone. So you shouldn't be confused about putting your achievements on there. It should be there. And I also said here you should use the XYZ method, which you talked about from your resume. So for me, what I did was I already written my resume. So it was a matter of just transferring what I had in my resume, the key points, not everything. I just put them on LinkedIn, right? So I don't need to go about XYZ method because I already did that earlier. For skills and certifications, this is one section I think people don't rate so highly. but it is very powerful. I talked about the fact that there's a LinkedIn recruiter platform. So if you know any recruiter at all, you can ask them and they'll confirm it to you. When I was working as an HR data analyst, I had someone show me how the LinkedIn recruiter works. So they go in there, they say they want to see data analysts in Toronto, for example, or let's say in Nigeria, or in a particular state, Lagos, Nigeria. There are probably like 100,000 data analysts in a particular region, let's say 1,000 or 5,000. How do they streamline it, right? The recruiter goes in and they put the skills they want to see. So the skills that are relevant to the job they're asking for. Now, what LinkedIn would do is they obviously already have an archive of your skills from your profile and they're just trying to match it, right? So even when you apply to jobs, if you use LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn will also tell you that for this particular job, your skill match is 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. And that obviously takes you higher up the list, right? So if someone's applying for a job, a recruiter goes to put in the skills they want, and your skills rank 8 out of 10, you have 8 out of the 10 skills listed on your profile, you would obviously be way on top of the list, and they would obviously reach out to you after looking at your profile, right? So if your profile is great, that is. So that's why I said it's very underrated. Some people don't really pay attention to it. And when I got that this was very important, I went and updated the skills to relevant skills. So what you can do here is look at jobs that are common in your field. If you're a product designer, you use Figma, you use Adobe XD, you use I don't know what else you guys use. You should have those core skills there. You do UI research, put it there in your core skills. So that way, whatever job posting is related to your whatever you're applying for, it would match, right? Same thing applies to data analysts, my data people. You know your core skills, your Tableau, your Power BI, your Python, your Excel. If you do NLP stuff, SQL, those things should be on your skills section. And I will show that practically. Like we'll just probably spend more time than we're meant to, but yeah, recording is there for whoever. I don't know how many people on this call to be honest at the moment. And then another thing I said here is post. I've said it already. The post I made got me referrals. If I could, I would have showed you. So it's not like, and I've put screenshots on my Twitter before, where I've seen managers come and tell me, "Oh, I'm hiring for this role. I like your project. Come and apply to it, or send me your resume," stuff like that. So you should post your project, share it, and before you even post, one thing I did when I was transitioning to data analytics field from engineering, one thing I did was that I went on LinkedIn and for probably a month, every day I would probably connect to at least 10 people. So not connecting by going to send them messages. I don't like to do that. I'll just send them connection requests. And what I was doing is I would go search for data analysts in Toronto or Canada, for example, and I'll send them connection requests. The idea behind that was I was building my data analytics network. So right now, if I scroll through my LinkedIn feed, I'm only seeing things around data analytics, data science, machine learning on my feed, right? So I think you should definitely connect to people. You should also, once you do that, start posting your work. Why? Because you have people that are looking at what you're doing, and from there you could definitely get called. Um, you can definitely get called to apply to a job, or you can get referrals from there. So right now, I'm going to pause here a bit. I've spoken for 1 hour 20 minutes plus. I'm going to just go through LinkedIn. I don't know if Juliet and Mahmoud have put their LinkedIn profile URL, but if I don't get it in like the next 5 seconds or 10 seconds, we would just do another spin the wheel. And if we get those people, because I don't know if they're still on the call, and I need them to be on the call. If we're going to do their review of their LinkedIn profile, so I'm just going to wait for them to post their LinkedIn URL. If I don't get it, then we would use profiles from other people. How was my time as a human resource analyst? I see your question. Adedayo. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Juliet. I can see your chat, but I don't see your URL. Oh, she sent me. Hi, Juliet. Where did you send it to me? Was it like to Twitter? 'Cause I don't know if I saw it here. I just wanted to be on the chat, or I don't know where else. Where did you send it to me, Juliet? Oh, I can search your name. Okay, okay, nice. So you just tell me if I'm on the right profile. So just for us to go through what I talked about, right? I'll skip through all of this. So please don't use my LinkedIn profile as your if you're applying to a job, to be honest. I think after I stopped applying to jobs, I just retexted my profile to be a summary. But beforehand, I had like all of my accomplishment statements here. I still do have them. I just made it shorter and like for the ones that are not really important. But basically, all of the companies I'd worked are listed here. The current company, if you're currently working in a somewhere, I think on here you don't put in past tense. I think that's the rule. Then you just put. I'm just trying to see. Then for courses I did, certifications I got, there's a section for that. And ideally, if you click on this, so if you click on the link here on my profile, you would see where it shows the certificate I got, right, for that course. Same thing like for Coursera, Udemy, same thing. And the part I want to talk about is the skills. So this is why I said it's the most underrated. Okay, how did I'll do that, Juliet. So on here you can add skills, right? Even sometimes based on your profile, LinkedIn will suggest skills you need to put and all of that, right? So add skills, and I think what LinkedIn does now is they ask you where you put the skills to use, which I think is really nice. This wasn't there before, so I can as well just click where I use data analytics, and it was probably everywhere I worked, to be honest. And that's it, right? So what I was trying to explain is on the recruiters platform, when they're trying to pair people, they look at all of the skills that people have and they try to see which of it matches, and that kind of gives them an idea of um what candidates to suggest for a particular job, right? I'm trying to see what else I want to show you. Then I think another thing is the jobs, applying to jobs, but I'll probably have a different session for that, to be honest. So let's just do Juliet's profile. Okay, so it's even showing here already for me. Hi, Juliet. Okay, nice. Well, I think I remember Juliet from one of the posts I did recently. I remember seeing your name. Nice. Okay, so this is Juliet's profile. We're gonna just do a live review of let's see. Okay, so I like what she did here on this part where she put like what she does, right? So she's a research scientist, data analyst, and I know women tech stars because I spoke there I think last week or last 2 weeks on their platform. What I would suggest is kind of leave some space in between, right? Because I'm not sure if LinkedIn might see this as one word, so you can probably just leave a space. So I'll show you how. Let me see if I can see how mine is. So you can do something like this. Let me see if I can bring my notepad into view. Mahmoud Usman. You can also put yours as well. So you can do something like this, Juliet. Research scientist. So either you use this, so there's a space in between. So if someone is searching for data analyst or something, right, in their headline, they can easily see this. And the women, texters, fellow. So you can do something like this just to make this look neater. Either you do this or you can, there's a dot. I think I used a dot in mine. I don't know where I got that dot from. The special dots, not on the keyboard. But you can just do this. I think it's fine because you clearly stated like what you do, and obviously because you have a PhD, it coincides with the fact that yes, you're research sciences, so that works. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention on my profile, right? So, since you're into like, I guess you're probably transitioning into data analytics, right? On the featured section of your profile, right? That's the part where you can put projects that you've worked on, right? And I see you've done 1 year already. I did mention that. So let me see if I can. So you can see here on mine, these are posts. But back then when I was applying to jobs, I had like projects that were featured, and anytime you go to my profile, you will just see them on the very top. So like when I would do dashboards and all of that, you will see them featured on my profile. Same thing with all the projects I'd worked on, right? So I think if you have projects, more projects, Julia, you can also put them and feature them. I don't think there's a limit to the number of stuff you can feature. And then we already talked about this, right? So currently, Juliet is a senior material researcher. I don't speak German, so I can't pronounce this, but I see it's a nanotechnology institute, right? So what I would say here is, though it's a very recent role, you can also put like an overview of what you do in your current role, right? But another thing I would say is when you do that, just make sure it's tailored. So if you're maybe looking for a new role, like in analytics or something, you can just make sure that whatever you put on there, it kind of aligns with data analytics, right? And I don't think I spoke on this, so forgive me. So, because I was transitioning from engineering to data analytics, when I was in engineering, I used to do a lot of drawings, right? So I was mostly using AutoCAD and all of that. But in my resume that I shared earlier, you wouldn't see anything about drawings. You won't see anything about me doing design for plants, or compressors or all of that, because it wasn't relevant to the jobs I was applying to, right? So what I did was I brought out things that were more or less related um to what now? To data analytics from those roles, right? And like I said, my profile is everywhere, so you can see it. And I don't think I mentioned that. So I just want to do that, seeing this. And one thing I see here is like for this role where you worked as a researcher, right? You should have like bullet points of like accomplishments here as well. So the research from the research that you do, did you like come up with anything innovative? Just make sure it's quantifiable. So that should be like at least maybe 3 or 4 bullet points, right? So one thing I do is if there's a place I worked longer, right, relative to the others on like my resume or LinkedIn profile, I would have more bullet points for that compared to like the other roles. Um, so same thing for this, but I'm saying that this coincides here. Okay, so this is more like of when you did your PhD. So that can okay, also in the education section. But obviously, what the point here is just try to bring out the bullet points, necessary bullet points, and we can go from there. And then for education, okay, yeah. So this is the current fellowship with Tech for Dev, which is fine. I think Tech for Dev has their logo. I don't know why it's not showing here. I'm not sure why it's not showing here because ideally the logo should be showing, right? Same thing with University of South Africa. I'm sure the logo should be showing. I'm not sure if it's my because I'm the one looking at it. But just see if you can fix that, Juliet, so that the logos for all of them would show. Because I can see that I know Tech for Dev is on LinkedIn. I know University of South Africa is on LinkedIn. Just make sure that the logo shows up here. Then for education as well, if you have like awards that you won, you can also put it. I also like that you put pictures because I put that also on my profile for some of like my school education and my work experience. So LinkedIn allows you to add media as well. So that's also good to show. Um so you also have like certifications from Coursera. So like I said, the same thing, if you click on it, it should take you to the certification that she got. And you can see, for instance, in Juliet's case, it shows the one she got from Coursera through University of Michigan through Coursera. That's cool. And for your skills section, same thing we just talked about, add more skills because for data analytics, there are a lot more skills that you can use, right? So if it's a role you're transitioning to and it's a data analyst role, I would say, oh, can you zoom? Is it zoom? Am I zooming in? I'm so sorry. Oh, in my head, I was seeing this clearly, but I wasn't looking at the stream. So in Juliet's case, let me try. She has some skills here, but in my case, I don't consider anything Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, like Excel. Definitely leave it there because it's relevant to data analytics. But for Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, you can just, if you get to the 50 limit, because there's a limit of 50 skills you can put, you can remove that to put more relevant ones, right? So for data analytics, you'll be looking at things around your Tableau, Power BI, um things around problem solving, um what else, SQL, Python, because I see you did something on Python structures from that course on Coursera, so you can also have that as well. So just make sure that you take the relevant skills, and a good way to get the skills you can put here is just go to job descriptions, for instance. So if I'm on jobs, I'll just look for data analyst, and for, I like that LinkedIn already thinks I should be a senior data analyst. So they show me senior data analyst jobs. So I would go to look at what they're asking for, right? So in this particular job, SQL definitely, there's no data analyst role that won't ask for SQL. They're also looking for someone that uses PowerPoint because you present, makes sense. In this case, I think for someone that has software development lifecycle experience. They also need someone that uses Power BI, for example. So these skills, obviously, if a recruiter for this role is going on LinkedIn to search for people and they want to send emails to them, they would use some of the skills mentioned here to streamline candidates. So if some of the skills are not on your profile, you obviously will not be streamlined. So that is why I mentioned that the skills section is very, very important. I'm already 5 minutes over. Um, Data analyst here is another one. In this case, same thing. They're asking for SQL, or in this case, they want someone that is good in cloud computing, for example. So Azure, GCP, AWS, Power BI, Tableau, which is normal for a data analyst role, right? So I hope that helps, to be honest. And I think for Mahamud, you can send me something later, to be honest, Mahamud, and I would help you do your review and send it to you. Since we can't do it on the call. But I hope that has helped everybody. I think the last thing I wanted to share is here on my Canva. Is the fact that your resumes go a long way, like I said, to help you. Resumes, LinkedIn profile. And while I was preparing for this presentation this morning, I saw a mail from, no problem, Juliet. I saw a mail from, not a mail, this was an Instagram message from someone had helped review a resume. So I told you there was a time I used to do free resumes, free review for resumes. And she sent me this. She was like, oh, thank you for reviewing my resume. She has been getting interviews and she got an offer finally, right? This is another person where he said, this one, I think this was GB, yeah, he had paid for me to help review his resume. The funny thing was that even the resume we reviewed for reviewing for a data analyst role, he ended up getting a different role, which was obviously going to pay him more, right? Which was going to pay him more than what he actually was being offered. So for me, and basically when I'm reviewing resumes, it's whatever I've said on this call that I use. There's nothing out of, I don't take, I don't do, I'm not a magician, right? It's what I've said that I use. It's what I've done on mine that I use for people, and I just streamline it to their work experience. So I just hope you can take whatever you learned here. If you still have questions that I did not answer, you can obviously ask me. I know my Twitter is a mess right now. You can ask me on Twitter with the questions, and I'll obviously do my best to answer any question that you have. To be honest. So just I'll probably just do it sweet so you can put the questions under there and I'll try to answer it as the day goes on. And yeah, if you need to book a chat, book a resume review, just go to my link. You will see this profile that you can click on to book one. And yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks, Chidima. Thanks, Ridwan. Mahmoud says his LinkedIn. Yeah, so Mahmoud, I've not forgotten, definitely. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, send me a message, or you can send me a message on you can send me a message on Instagram or not on Twitter. You can just ask me. I would help you do your review. Don't worry. I'll help you do your review. I've gotten the name Awatole Usman. And on the tweet I would put out, just let me know. I would definitely do your review for you, right? And you will get the recording definitely. You would also get the slides. I'll send it to you afterwards. And for some of the references I made about where you can get like apply to jobs, I have it on my Instagram profile. I'll try and share it on Twitter as well, right? If you're on there. So thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.